Hey tribe, welcome back. In this video, we're gonna go through a Thai style house. It's gonna be a tour, and this is an excellent example of Thai style. And before we get started here, I have a special guest I wanna introduce you to. Kaboom! This is Ang. This is my girlfriend. We've been dating for about 4 years. So this is actually her house up in Surin because we've been up in Surin for
10 months.
longer than 10 months. We came past February. It's almost a year now. This is January 2026. We came up last February 2025. And we came up here, honestly, the plan was a few months, but now it's been almost a year because a lot of it has been her dad wasn't in great health. So since we've been up here, we've been taking care of her dad, but her dad's health actually really turned around. So we're still here. So how this video is going to roll out is Ang is going to do most of the filming. That way I can kind of walk around and show you things. But this is an excellent house for a Thai style. And because pretty much like if you want to live in Thailand, if you want to retire in Thailand, first off, you're going to start off with a condo, but then eventually you're probably going to want to transition out of a condo and either go to a house. And in Thailand, you got two choices when it comes to housing. You have Thai style and you have European style. Thai style is going to be a little bit more cheaper than European style, but that's going to be more what you're used to coming from your country. But Thai style, this is going to be an excellent kind of a middle class style, Thai style house. So this is how the video is going to roll out. Is first off, we're going to do a little introduction here, chat back and forth, and then we're going to stand up. We're going to walk around. And I'll show you the house. And at the same time, I'll share with you some things you probably don't know about Thai style. Because when you're coming from the States, Europe, London, UK or whatever, there's going to be things that you're just not aware of. And you're not going to think about until you actually experience it yourself. So other than that, let's get rocking and rolling. And one of the things I thought about since we're sitting out here outside is that one of the things Ang and I kind of struggled with coming up here, we struggle with now. And before I tell you that is my videos, I try to be as transparent as I possibly can, just because I look at it as you're watching this to get advice. And I'll try my best to give you advice that most people don't give. So some of my advice is negative. Just beware of that. But I think since we're outside, this is an excellent time to bring it up. We are in Surin. We're in a Thai village. Okay. And when we talk about Surin, talk about Thai villages, every place is a Thai village. So just for you to be aware of, no matter if you live in Phuket. I lived in Phuket for 1 year. I did resort living there. Then we moved up to Hua Hin. We lived in Hua Hin for 1.5 years. Now, Ang actually lived in Hua Hin for
10 years.
10 years. So she had way more experience in Hua Hin than me. Then I had a brain fart. I'm sorry. Like, what was I talking about?
Talk about Thai house.
The Thai house.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yes. I know what I was talking about. I'm not used to doing videos with other people. I'm used to just doing them by myself. Being outside, I think every place is a Thai village. So that's what was new to me. Like when you lived in Phuket, you live in Hua Hin, you live in Jamtien, you live in Bangkok, you live in these tourist hubs. And within these tourist hubs, of course, Thai locals live around these hubs. But every place is a Thai village. So that's one of the things I learned here is when you live in a Thai village is there's somebody in charge of the Thai village. Okay, now what do you call that? When they were in charge, what's the Thai word for it? They're in charge of the Thai village.
ผู้ใหญ่บ้าน
Okay. I kind of look at it as like the mayor of the Thai village. Kind of like that. Like basically, like if you have any issues, you go to that person first. You don't just call the police or call the Thai police. You go to him first. You let him have the opportunity to solve the issue. It's very old culture, meaning like even if a Thai person goes through a divorce, you actually go to him, and he handles the whole divorce. If you guys have kids, he handles the division of the kids. So it's very, very old culture when you're inside a Thai village. But one of the things we both kind of struggled with was noise. And that's kind of it's been a challenge for us both, because when you kind of move, when you only live around locals, they love to blast music. They love to play music crazy loud. It comes inside the house, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Especially if I work from home. We don't have kids, but all the neighbors have kids. So then you start wondering, like, well, kids have to get up and go to school, and they're blasting music all night like you're living in a club. I think that's probably the biggest thing to bring up, is the closer you live to Thai, it gets louder and louder and louder. It's a little bit more chaos. Not just like the sound from the roads and stuff like that, but just music in general. You have anything to say about that?
No. But sometimes it's okay, but not every day.
Well,
It's
yeah.
too much.
Yeah, sometimes like we put up with it a little bit,
Yeah.
but then when it's just every day during the day, every single night, then if we sit down and try watch a movie, it's the music's playing over the movie, over the TV. So, it can get severe from time to time. I think that's been kind of our biggest struggle, like up here, or the biggest topic of our discussions is just the music. As I'm talking about music, I can actually hear music right now, but it's not that loud.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think I'm ready
Yes. Okay.
to do the tour here. And then as we do the tour, I'll bring up stuff and talk about stuff as I'm walking around. So let's get this started.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, guys, really fast. This is the house. Just want to show you the outside. I'm standing in the road, so this might be the last chance you see Chatty, because I might get hit by a car here. But anyway, we just remodeled this gate here. I'll talk about the gate here in a second, but let's come on in. Now we have 3 puppies running around, so they might run around. I might fall down. I might trip. But anyway, this is her patio right here. Everything is fenced in. We just remodeled this. This is something to maybe talk about at the end of the video. Not right now, because I'm going to get off on a tangent. So right now, it kind of just seems like a standard kind of middle-class house. We got the picnic tables. One of the things, almost every house comes with a Buddha station. They build like a Buddha temple by the house. That's kind of unique for me. So almost every house has something similar like this. Then we have the little pathway through here. We don't have this wall finished yet. We put this ugly thing up because of the puppies. But anyway, let's start off over here. Besides me being funny, is one of the things I saw like when I first came up here, is that this path right down through here, you can stand over here. I'm sorry, I was standing in a bad spot. This path right down here is this, like I said, this is unfinished. Is when we first came up, this was just basically trash. I mean, that's one thing you're kind of fine with some locals. Locals like to throw trash all over. So when I first came up, I told Aang that, well, we need to, sorry, that's loud, the motorbikes. We need to hire a trash pickup. Okay, that way we can throw everything away, throw the trash away. And this is what I really learned. With Thailand in the villages, it's all or nothing with trash pickup. Meaning that if I pay for trash pickup, the trash truck, whatever you want to call it, the garbage man, it's not going to come for one house. So it's all or nothing. It wants to come for the whole entire village. So if the village itself don't pay for trash pickup, they're not going to come for you. Okay, so that's really a challenge. And that's like if you live in a Thai village, you have a Thai house, you really want to make sure the village itself has trash pickup. It's cheap. It's only about what, 20 baht?
30 baht.
30 baht, but it's 30 baht per house. So how many houses in the village?
Maybe 200-300. I'm not sure.
Okay, so this village has 200 or 300 houses. So, but that's what I mean is it's not going for 30 baht. It's not going to drive all the way here for one house. So it wants if they do it, the whole village does it. So right now that's the dilemma. That's why you kind of see trash. It's way better than what it was. We picked up a lot. We put the sand over here. But I just have to kind of bring that up because honestly, for me, since I've been here 4 years, that's kind of why you see Thai people throw trash all over, because if they don't pay for trash pickup, there's no place to throw it away. You can't take it somewhere. Like if we drive through the small little town here, there's literally no place to throw trash away. You have to pay for trash pickup. But anyway, let's continue. We got the air conditioner. One of the things, if Anne can get it in, is the roof. One of the things with a Thai style is the roof is metal. They like to build with cement and they like to build with metal. Now, those are the two things I've learned a lot about here, is because the walls are cement. Okay, they're not insulated. What that means is when it's hot, like when it's Surin hot, like your house is like a sauna. Okay, the same thing with the metal roof. Okay, the metal roofs, what's the right word for it? The metal conducts heat, so it gets hotter because metal gets hot, and plus there's no sound insulation. So like that's why I said when people play music, once the music comes over or comes in your house, like everything is just basically sound is basically bouncing around. Like nothing absorbs sound. Those are the two main things you you need to know is it's cement and metal and no insulation, no heat insulation, no sound insulation. Now they can upgrade all this, but what you kind of have to understand with Thai and locals, it really comes down to, not to sound mean, how much money they have. So usually when they build a house, they do the best they can with the resources and the money they have. So I mean that's more of a polite way to use it. Like if they don't have the money to put the best roof on there, well, they use metal. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You can insulate cement, but it just costs more money. But you will, with Thai houses, it's pretty standard to kind of see these two scenarios right here. The windows, we've talked a lot about the windows. These windows are about 15 years old. They need replaced because again, they're just like cheaper wood windows. Bugs are really bad here in Thailand, especially up north. So these are probably all eaten out, more hollow from termites. We've talked about replacing these just to basically help with sound, help with heat and sound. What else here? Another thing is out here, okay. This is everywhere. This isn't just in a village. This is even in Hua Hin. Like in Hua Hin, if you want to retire in Hua Hin, usually the houses are outside of Hua Hin. Sometimes you get lucky and you get a house as a housing development right on the end of Hua Hin, so you're still within Hua Hin city. But a lot of the houses on the outside, so you can be surrounded by land. Okay, you can be surrounded by empty lots. And in the beginning, being a Phalong, you think that's cool. You know, we're surrounded by this empty lot. That means, you know, it's going to be more clean, not as much noise. But with Thai, Thai love there's a few things here. Is this empty lot here, Thai will drop off their cows, and their cows will eat the grass. They'll drop off their buffalo, the buffalo will eat the grass. In the beginning, it's cool to see cows and buffalo in your backyard until they stink. Another thing you'll see is everything is unkept. Okay, nobody mows their yard. You know, these are behind me, these are rice fields. Everything's unkept, everything's overgrown. The big thing I've learned about that, being a Falang again, is that bugs are hellacious here, like crazy here. And when things are overgrown, it just brings in the bugs. It makes the bugs worse. Mosquitoes, bugs, flies, any bug you can think of. Lucky came up the model for you. It's not just bugs. When it's overgrown like that, it brings in snakes.
Rat.
It brings in rats. Like the biggest thing, Aang said, rats.
Rat.
Rats are really huge in Thailand. So a lot of these houses have rat issues because they can come up close to the house because everything's overgrown. I have some gross stories for you for rats and bugs, but maybe I'll keep it for the end of the video. Over here, this is our recycles. Now they do come and recycle. That's one thing they do. You can recycle your glass and your plastics. They will come and pick that up for you. This is Aang's water tank. And you know, from talking to Aang, with Thai style houses, is a lot of them don't have water tanks. You want to make sure they have a water tank, because the biggest thing I find in the village is they're always working on the water. So sometimes you might go without water for a day because they're working on the water for the whole village. So if you have a water tank, you don't run out of water. So for Thai, it's really big to have a tank. I think in the village, I think Aang, you're the only house that has a water tank.
They have more.
More?
Yes.
Okay.
Somehow they have also.
Okay. But she's probably one of the top houses that has. Like if you're a little bit more poor, they won't have a water tank.
No.
So she has a water pump, water tank. One of the things we'll talk about this inside the kitchen, but one of the things we wanted to install was a filter system here.
Yeah.
Basically, you have a mesh filter, carbon filter, an extra fine filter, because in the village, the water is pretty dirty. It brings in like dirt in your water. The water can be yellow from time to time. So you need a filter on your stuff, because it will, we had one time that they were working on the water supply here, and it shot mud. I'm not even joking. It shot mud all the way through the pipes here. And I mean, I'm not talking about dirty water. I'm talking about mud. Luckily, I caught it, because when it shoots through mud in your water supply, it will ruin your washer. It will ruin your shower. It will ruin your toilet. It will ruin everything. But I think that's it. I think that's it from out here. Another thing before we go in, we're going through the living room first, is, like I said, it kind of looks old, but how old is the house right now?
More than 15 years.
Like more than 15? Like when I first came here, and I lived in California for 18 years, originally from Ohio. I mean, for me, when I first saw the house, I was thinking it was already 30 or 40 years old. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking it's only like 15 years old. And that's kind of what you'll see. Like things will get old really quick here. Mainly about a few things is the sun, the heat, and the rain are fierce here. It's pretty much like living in Florida. Now, another thing is I brought this up a little bit before, is Thai seem to build cheap. Like they use the cheapest materials. And when you use cheap materials, they just don't last. Just to be honest with you. Now, sometimes it's not only Thai's fault. Sometimes it's not Aang's fault or whatever. Sometimes you hire somebody, you hire a company, you hire a construction crew, You tell, like when we did this right here, the gate and the wall, both of us, Ang and myself, was like, we don't want no rust. We want to buy quality. Don't worry about the money. Buy the best. And they cut corners. And you don't really catch it until they're done. You know what I mean? Like after this was done, you can't see it because it's far away. I mean, within 3 days, it was already rusting. They watered down the paint. They watered down the galvanized paint. They cut things too short. So we got to fix all this. If you come up close, you can see the cheesy job they did. But that had nothing to do with me and Ang. You know, it's just, you know, it is what it is. Like when people come and work, you got to watch them like a hawk. That's the only thing. Like, it's like they're a 10-year-old child. You got to stand out there and watch them. This brought up a lot of discussions. So right now, let me see. You have anything else to add, Ing?
No, it's okay. You can talk.
Okay. Okay, now we're going in the living room. Now, one of the things I kind of noticed here with Thai style, I noticed this in Thai style houses, with condos, even Ang will agree with me, because Ang has more experience than me here in Thailand, because Ang's Thai, is even the condos in Thailand, not all of them, but I would say most of them are Thai style condos. even when we lived at La Casita, okay, it's a Thai style condo. No matter if they have a pool, a gym, or whatever, they have all these amenities. When you actually go inside the condo itself, it's Thai style. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But with houses, the big thing I've noticed with houses here, even when they build European style, they tend to kind of have a kitchen, living room, the bedrooms, and that's it. Even when they do European style, like they try to build houses like you're used to in the States or Europe, they kind of do the same thing. They have a living room, kitchen, and bedrooms. That's it. They won't have extra rooms. They won't have a den. They won't have a computer room. They won't have a washer and dryer room. It, they try their best, but even with European style, it will be a mixture between Thai style. Okay, they'll have a European kitchen, but sometimes that's about it. But anyway, when we walk in here, what I love about her house is that they have this big nook area here. Okay. And before you kind of go off to the living room. So lots of times this is where, like, when there's Buddha days, when there's like Thai holidays are grand, people come over, they're kind of set up right here. They're set up a little prayer, like food and the pray station and stuff like that. They're set it up right here. We got the rice over here. This probably won't stay here because it's just the end of rice season. So this usually was in the kitchen, but we might take it over to her grandma's, but she has a kind of a barn to keep it in. But right now it's over here. But something to kind of tell you here, this is where I kind of, in the beginning, wanted to set up my office. Because this was like a really cool nook area for the office. Like I set the computers over here. The computers aren't in the bedroom. I don't have to like angle the camera kind of weird. But this is what people don't tell you in Thailand. Other YouTubers, okay, and this is why I start disagreeing with these like really big YouTube channels, is they'll sit there and say, well, there's no crime in Thailand. It's more dangerous in United States than it is in Thailand. And like when we first came up here, I told Ang that, oh, I want to put my computers here. Then Ang can agree with me and disagree with me here in this video, but Ang was like, oh, no. Like because Ang really felt uncomfortable for me to put my computers here because we have the door right here. At that time, we didn't have the gate and the wall done. So Ang was kind of nervous about that. Ang was like, well, if you have your computers here, people walk past, they see, and it kind of just encourages theft. That's what I want to say. Like, I mean, Thailand, it's a normal country, just like the United States, Europe, whatever. You got theft here, you got crime here. That's the only thing I want to say. It's a different country. You got to use common sense. For people to tell you there's no crime here, it's just an outright lie. I'm not saying this to be negative, but you know, I've seen it when I've been here for 4 years. But I just wanted to tell you that because Aang didn't want nothing to happen to my stuff because I have expensive stuff. She didn't want nothing to happen to my computers and stuff like that. Then when Aang telling me, Aang was like, you know, it was different when she grew up here than what it is now. There's a lot more people that are alcoholics. They use drugs. They have no money. They want money for drugs. So they end up breaking in your place and taking your stuff and sell it for drugs. That's usually what they do. We just had a break in maybe 4 or 5 months ago, just down here on the corner. And they pretty much target like nicer houses. I'm not saying this to scare you, but you got to use common sense. That's all I want to say. Now it kind of goes into the living room. What do we have here? We still have the windows, but the fans. The biggest thing I want to say about the fans is when I first came up here, and I'll show you in the kitchen, is it took a while. It was kind of Aang and her dad a little bit. With Thai, with the electric, they want to try to keep their expenses as low as possible. But when I came up here, it was just so humid in here. And you'll see it with your eyeballs. Like humidity ruins things in Thailand. I didn't see it in the States because we always have airflow in the States. So it took a while. Now they're doing really good. But when I first came up, I would turn on all the fans to kind of keep airflow. But I would turn on the fan, like 5 minutes later, I would walk away, come back, and it would be off. Like Aang's laughing behind there, she knows. But sometimes I would have to say, well, you have to keep the airflow because that way the humidity don't ruin stuff. But it does get, right now it's nice because it's January, but it can get hot as hell in here. So that's the biggest thing with the living room, keep airflow in the place. Same way with Vietnam, these houses, Vietnam, Cambodia, Da Nang, wherever, these houses are built the same way. It's cement and it's metal. And when heat comes in, it brings in humidity. If you don't have airflow, you got humidity and mold. So you got to keep the airflow going. But this is a standard living room. The biggest thing you don't see a lot with Thai is you'll notice there's no closets. There's no extra rooms. There's no closets to put stuff. That was a big difference for me because I'm used to closets. Like in the bedrooms, there's no closets. You'll see that in condos too in Thailand where there's just no closets. We'll go in here. Besides the kitchen's this way, this is one of the bedrooms. And like I said, you can just stand in the corner here. Like I said, this is where my computer is set up. Like I said, I wanted it in the nook area, but Aang kind of felt more comfortable at being in here. Just because, again, she basically feel bad if something happened. If someone broke in here where we're not here, it's only her dad here. So this is the bedroom. We have kind of all of our stuff here, anything that costs money. That way when we leave, we go shopping, we're going to be gone for the day. 100% we're going to be gone for a couple days. We can shut this door and lock it. So that's where kind of most of our expensive stuff kind of stays, unfortunately. This is the other little nook area because we weren't planning on staying here that long. And he's like shaking her head. Like, so we still have our stuff in a suitcase, baby. So 11 months later. And then another kind of cool thing too, since I'm walking by, they have, what do they call this?
Buddha.
The Buddha?
Yes.
I want to say a Buddha station, but lots of times they change the flowers like weekly. Every week. Then they have the incense going. Lots of times in these Thai style houses, they have like their family heritage.
Grandma, grandpa, and mom.
Yeah, on the wall. A lot of times, they pray to their mom or grandparents, stuff like that, which is kind of cool. And now we go into the kitchen. Now this, I have to say, for Thai style, this is an actual big kitchen for Thai. When Aang and I lived in Hua Hin, when I was thinking about breaking my lease and moving from La Casita, which I'll put those videos down below in the description for you if you want to check that out. I don't want to get on a tangent here. When we started looking at houses in Hua Hin, and we looked at some Thai style, the Thai style houses, their kitchen was just as small as it was in the condos. So this is actually a big kitchen, because when Anh built the house, she knew she wanted a big kitchen. So this isn't kind of this isn't really your normal kitchen in Thailand, but it's still Thai style. So you have, like, really fast, you have the Thai style sink and everything. You won't see this is what I mean by European style. You won't see the drawers and the cabinets. Now, this is all hollowed out. This is what I don't understand. To me, it's like a waste of space a little bit. This is all hollowed out. They kind of just throw junk in here. But I do know Anh wants to turn this into a European style, where you have a regular stove, stuff like that. But you see here, like, it's really popular. I like to call these the camper burners. That's what they look like to me. You go camping, they got the camper burners here. This is the same thing they have in condos when they try to say luxury condo, but they got 2 camper burners. But these are bigger, but still the same style. Most of these houses will come with your tank here. Now, according to Anh, you got to be really careful, because she's told me some stories where Thai style kitchens have blown up because these go bad or they leak. Then when you turn it on, you have a great big kaboom.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I mean. This is the refrigerator, by the way.
Yes.
Just in case you don't know what one looks like. But this is what I mean. Like, when I first saw this, I saw all these, like, it looks like old as shit. Like, I'm like, how old is this? Like 50 years old? But at first I was thinking they have this flipping thing outside, and Anh said no. See, this is what I mean by humidity. Is when they don't have airflow, they just let these houses be as hot as they can get. And I understand, because sometimes they don't have the money to pay for the electric bill. They want to keep it as low as possible. This is what humidity does. This is all humidity, my friends. Like, when it looks so old like this isn't sun damage. This is humidity. So when it comes in like this, humidity will destroy your stuff.
But they work very good.
Huh?
Still work inside very good.
Well, no, it's very good. It still works really good. It just, it just kind of looks ugly. But I just want to show you. Ang's laughing but this is what humidity does.
Yeah.
Same way, like, she has a washer over here. The washer looks pretty good, but you see the rust around here where the humidity brings in moisture. So you got moisture buildup, then it will rust everything. But this is actually broken. We were going to get a new washer and a dryer, because that's my pet peeve. Why have a washer and not a dryer? Even in condos, it will come with a washer, but no dryer. But the first thing, like I said, outside, if you want a washer, you have, in these Thai style, you have to make sure you have the filters, because if you don't have the filters, once in a while you'll have dirt come through here, like mud. Then if you have mud come through here, it's going to ruin the washer. Another thing really fast, I'm giving you a lot of information, is everything is cold water.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty standard in Thailand. Even in these condos, everything is cold water. Everything's a cold water line. We talked about a tiny bit. Ang's brother-in-law is a plumber. So that's why I end up learning a lot here, is because what does it take to bring in a hot water line? To have basically hot water here, just in case if I want to put a hot water tank outside. Of course, that's going to bring up the electric bill. So Ang's kind of worried about that, like, because we're not really planning on staying here long term. So when we leave, then if a hot water tank is here, that's just going to increase the electric bill for her dad or something like that. So that's kind of been an up in the air type of thing. But you just have to be aware of, even if you go to a condo, everything's cold water. Now for me, being from the States, maybe you, for me, it's a sanitation issue. Maybe for Ang too, is you're cleaning with cold water. Like everything's cold. So that kind of brings up, you have no dishwasher. Your washer will only be cold water, not hot water. Stuff like that. But now we're going to, the bathroom's just a regular bathroom. We're trying to get in here, but it's a standard. You see this in the condos where they do make, one of the things I do like with Thai style, with the bathrooms, that might sound echoey, but they do make them really kind of high end. They make them where, because you can throw water all over the place. That's kind of a Thai thing, because either they're doing laundry in the bathroom, so it's kind of, everything's made to get wet. Okay. But even here, you'll see the big buckets here, kind of old fashioned Thai style. Like you can take a shower with water. You still see this. Now when we came up, we replaced the shower and the shower head. We added I don't even know what you call these.
Hot water.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cheaper version of a hot water tank, but it only goes in the shower. Like if you stayed in Thai condos, you've seen these. Now this one is a good one. We bought a really good one. So the water is, this was better than the one we stayed in a condo. We stayed at La Casita in Wahine. This is a better quality one. The one at La Casita, it was literally lukewarm at best. Then when we were getting ready to move out, it wasn't even getting warm at all. But these are just okay. But like for me, if I'm renting a house, if I went in and saw this, I probably wouldn't want to rent there and live there, because I would want a hot water tank. That way, if you want to take a hot shower, if you love hot showers, this isn't going to be enough for you. So just for you to be aware of. The same thing, like if you buy a condo, they love to put these inside a condo. So all condos are cold water. With Fulong, I don't want to get off on a condo kick. For Fulong, condos are severely overpriced. I mean, they're charging you 4, 5, 6 million baht for a condo. When if Ang went and bought a condo, maybe it'll be like 1 million baht. But it would drastically drop. But I don't want to get off on that tangent. But you have to understand, when you're buying a condo or a Thai style house, it's all cold water. There's no hot water tank. Especially in a condo, there's 2 camper burners, no stove, no dishwasher, no washer and dryer. If there is a washer, that's it. But the washer is so tiny where it's literally just me doing my socks and boxers, throw a couple of shirts in there, and that's it. Get out of there, because I know it was echoey. Let me see. Is there anything else you would add? I think that's it for the tour. I don't even know how long I've been talking. I know I share a lot of stuff, but other than that, let's kind of wrap up the tour. We'll kind of sit down, talk about pros and cons here. Anything I kind of forgot, kind of walking around talking about, but that's it. It's kind of pretty simple. A simple house. This is a wonderful example of a middle-class Thai style house. But I gave you a lot of information, just because there's a lot of things that you don't know. You can't just assume like it's going to be just like your country. You can't assume, like, another thing when you rent, you got to be very detailed about what you want. You got to ask questions, even though they sound stupid. You know what I mean? You can't assume nothing. You really want to make sure they fix things. They're going to fix things when they break. If you buy, you really want, in my opinion, you really want to make friends with a Thai local or something. A Thai person can go with you and they can look at things with you, because a Thai, like with Ang, with her brother-in-law, he's worked in construction his whole life. So if you're going to buy, you have someone there that can really look, and they can see if they cut corners, and because you can buy a lot of lemons here. And there's no laws to protect that. If you buy a lemon, you're stuck. Okay, you can't sue. You can't sue the developer. Most of the time, these developers live in another country. So even if they go through mass lawsuits, all they do is leave the country. So then you're basically stuck with a lemon. But other than that, let's sit down on the couch and have a little chat. We'll wrap up this video. We'll do some pros and cons. And other than that, let's sit down. Hey guys, we're back. At first, I was going to treat this as like kind of a pros and cons, like things I kind of miss going around kind of doing the tour and talking about stuff. And, I apologize because it kind of seems long-winded, especially when you look at, when you go through other condo tours, other YouTube videos. But I think like for me, they don't really give advice. They're basically other channels, they kind of sell the dream of living abroad. They sell the dream of living in Thailand. They sell the dream of living in a condo. That's kind of their niche. They sell the dream. And, I love Thailand, but like when I do Thailand videos, I try to kind of filter in the gaps a little bit. Rather than, yes, I can sell the dream, but then since I'm older, then when people really want to live here, you want to know kind of the inner secrets. You want to know it kind of sounds like, for me, it kind of sounds negative. It kind of sounds like, oh, Chad, you're talking negative or negative connotation. You're sharing negative stuff. But even though it sounds negative, that way you can make a better choice. Whatever your standards or boundaries are, whatever your non-negotiables are, whatever your lifestyle is, you can kind of, take the information, and some things are deal breakers for you. You know what I mean? Some things I'm willing to put up with, you might not be willing to put up with. So that's why I kind of share it. But at this point, I don't really know if we really have anything to share.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else like about the
No.
about the
already.
house?
I think
I think with the house, I think it's everything. I think the only thing we kind of brought up in the beginning is, and this can be like living around for long too. When you live in tourist areas, it can be loud. You know what I mean? Because it's a tourist area. You have to, when you're looking at a house, Thai style, European style, I think the biggest thing for me, you got to do your homework. You can't jump into it. I think the best advice given to me is, if you want to live here, start off with a condo, maybe even live in a condo for 3 or 4 years, so you can kind of get your feet wet. You know how these houses work. You know how financing works. You know what to look for, because there's so many things to look at. Like the biggest thing for me, I guess, is like there's no zoning laws in Thailand, meaning like you can build a house and right beside your house is vacant land, and 1 year later they can build a bar right there.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, and there's nothing you can do. This is what I forgot to share with you outside is like you can have vacant land beside your house and you're like, yes. And then all of a sudden Thai people start throwing trash on it and burning it. And it's not even their land. That's the biggest thing in Thai. Like it's not their land, but they'll throw trash on it and burn. So when we have like the next door neighbor does it with the land just right here I showed you, is they throw trash on it and burn. Or they got cows on it or whatever. I think that those are the biggest things is you really got to know where you're at. You really got to think big picture, kind of where you're going to live, who you're living around. I think that's the only like key insight.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
She agrees with me.
Can do because their place no place to grow. Then they burn another land from the people.
Well, yeah, like like what Aang said, like they like in this village they don't pay for trash pickup.
We
So
cannot control all the village.
yeah.
They live like that already.
Yeah, and that's the same thing when people like are moving to Da Nang, Vietnam. They're complaining about the same thing. It's like they live in a condo or a house, and there's vacant land, maybe like right by their balcony. Then Vietnamese locals will just throw trash on it and burn.
The same.
It's the same. It's the same thing, and like what she said, like in Asia, it's the same thing. But that's my only advice is you have to do a lot more homework here than you do in your own country. You have to, to me, it's just the sound issues. The sound, it could be traffic, how the house is built, cars going by, all types of stuff. So yeah, I think that's it, my friends. We didn't plan this little talk right here. So it's like, before I push record, I was like, do you have anything to share? Like anything I missed talking about? And it's just like, no, I think you said everything. But that's it. Just want to share that. And if you have questions, of course, comment below. I try to help you out as much as I can. I try to be as proactive as I can inside the comments. But comment below. I'll try to help you out as best as possible. If not, check out the description. That's where all the nuggets are. Other than that, remember, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.